Hello, comic book guys and gals, and welcome to Comic Mag Musings. This handsome devil's your host, Bill Miller. Ooh, I'm very excited because we have another 5. There it is. Undervalued, under the radar, underappreciated spec books for you today. So without further ado, let's get to digging in. First, we have Incognito, number 1. Interior art and cover art by Sean Phillips. 6 issues in this series came out in 2008. And this is about Zach Overkill and his twin brother, who are supervillains. Well, his twin brother is killed, and Zach runs over to the good side and enters the Witness Protection Program, where they administer drugs that take away his superpowers until he learns of other drugs that counteract them. But ultimately, after squealing on his boss, the Black Death, it's discovered that he's still alive, and the baddies come after him, and hijinks ensue. So, great creative team of Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips, masters of modern noir. And Brubaker signed a deal with Legendary Television Studios to develop some of his creator-owned properties. That includes Icon Titles, which was a Marvel imprint. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see them turn that into probably a movie. Although there was a subsequent series, I think 5 or 6 issue series of Incognito as well. They could turn it into a TV show, but probably a movie. Criminal, Fade Out, just one banger after another from this creative group. There is a second copy. And you can get this in near mint condition for $4 to $7. Incognito number 1, $4 to $7. All right, our second pick is Odyssey number 1. This is a 12-issue series from 2014, and the interior art and cover art is by Christian Ward. Well, the key to this is it's written by Matt Fraction. And this is a sort of a definitely sci-fi series. It's about a female and her crew who just finished a 100-year galactic war, and they're trying to return home to their home planet. And they encounter one obstacle, one adventure after another on their way back. It's clearly a play on the Odyssey, where she takes the title role that Odysseus takes in that epic poem by Homer, right? So very good read. And Matt Fraction also signed a deal with Legendary Television Studios to develop his creator-owned properties, along with his wife, Kelly Sue DeConnick. They both signed a joint deal. So wouldn't be a stretch to see this get produced into some sort of series or television show. Maybe a movie, but probably a television show. There are a lot of streaming companies out there. There are a lot of television studios, movie studios, cartoon packagers that are looking for new content. And Marvel generally has Disney to produce its stuff. DC has Warner Brothers to produce it. So a lot of these studios are sniffing around indies because they're cheap to option. They only have to deal with 1 or 2 creators. And they run the gamut as far as the different topics, genres, themes that they have in them. And some of them just translate really, really well, especially if they can get the writer on board, which generally they can. And either the writer does the screenplay or becomes a consultant for the writers who are doing the screenplay. Typically with indies, it's the first issue, the number one issue, that will see movement if there's some news, some option news, or something ultimately gets made into a different form of media. So Odyssey number 1, here's a second copy. And that can be purchased for $2 to $4, less than the price of a new comic on New Comic Book Day. Odyssey number 1, $2 to $4. All right, so here's our expensive one of the 5. Relatively speaking, this one costs a bit more. But I think it's a great spec book. And this is Devil Dinosaur number 1. 9 issues in the series, started in 1978. Cover art, interior art, and writing by Jack Kirby. And this is about Devil Dinosaur and Moon Boy. You see him right there. They fight the Killer Folk tribe on the Dinosaur World planet. And it follows their adventures. I think he's from the small tribe, but it follows their adventures. They also make it to Earth. They have a team up with Godzilla. It kind of runs the gamut, but really fun, great stories. And this is the first appearance of both Devil Dinosaur and of Moon Boy. So the reason I think this is a good pick is we have Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. And Disney is making an animated series, I believe, based on that. Already, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur number 1 is hundreds of dollars for a high-grade copy. You can get this for between $40 and $60 in high grade. Devil Dinosaur number 1, $40 to $60. And I think that this will see a pretty good price jump once that series starts. Number 1, when people realize how expensive that one is, this becomes a really attractive alternative. And this is the actual first appearance of Devil Dinosaur. Not to mention, which I already did, it's the first appearance of Moon Boy, and he will have a role in the series as well. So Devil Dinosaur number 1, $40 to $60. I think that's a really good pickup. All right. For number 4, we have Sorrow, issue number 1. 4 issues in this series, and it's from 2007. In 1952, the U.S. government did an atomic test and wiped out the population of Sorrow, Nevada. 4 youngsters have their car broken down years later, and they're stuck in this ghost town, and they realize that it's not necessarily uninhabited. So that's all I'll give about it, but it's a great read. I'll pick up anything from Rick Remender. He's the one that wrote this. He's responsible for Deadly Class, Fear Agent, Tokyo Ghost, Low. He's had several things optioned, made into television shows, movies. So Sorrow, I think, is a really good bet to follow that line. He's a successful creator, and he's had successful optioned properties. Here's a second copy. You can get this for $2 to $4 near mint, all day long and twice on Sunday. Sorrow number 1, $2 to $4. And none of these are being sold by me right now. They're all in my personal collection. They're all good reads in my opinion. I'm not selling any of them. I don't have a personal agenda to push these books. I just think that if you can pick them up now for cheap and you really enjoy them, then you know you got them for a good price. Or if they really pop later and you can turn around and sell them and use the proceeds to buy something that you want, I think everybody wins. All right, our last pick is Ether, issue number 1. 5-issue series from 2016. David Rubin with the cover art. And Ether is about Boone Diaz, who's a scientist who discovers another dimension. And he seems so knowledgeable to those folks in the other dimension that they ask him to be a criminal detective to solve some of the most heinous and puzzling crimes. And he does so while his life on Earth kind of falls apart. He realizes that it's very difficult to be in two dimensions, or to go back and forth between the two dimensions and keep everything together. But there's an evil that enters from the ether dimension into Earth, and he's the one that has to do something about it one way or the other, and whether he succeeds, we'll find out. I know, but I don't want to ruin everything. So Ether, number 1. The key to this is it's written by Matt, here's another copy, Matt Kint. And he's a veteran writer, very, very talented. He's been nominated for several awards for Pistol Whip. He's written Revolver, Mind Management, it's a big hit for him, EMAC, and a bunch of Valiant titles. And this is the B cover. You can get this, at least the A cover, probably the B as well, but you can get it for $2 to $4. So Ether number 1, $2 to $4. All right, let's summarize. Ether number 1, $2 to $4. We've got Sorrow number 1, $2 to $4. The expensive one, Devil Dinosaur number 1, $40 to $60 for high grade. Odyssey number 1. What was Odyssey? I think $2 to $4. What was that one? I can't remember. And we've got Incognito number 1. That was $4 to $7. And that will do it for the speculative comic picks that we have for today. I hope you enjoyed seeing them. And if you did, I would encourage you to subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you're alerted as soon as I release new videos. Thumbs up and comments are always appreciated. And remember, we're taking over the world one comic book at a time.